The way we can pull this thing off is that he has some kind of mechanical problems or something like that. But we can lose it today, but we can't win it today. So we're going to be conservative, Dick, and see how many laps we can run.
Well, the only way he really can win it is if Hornaday does have problems. And so far, in 2 years of trucks, Hornaday has finished every single race. Who will be the next champion? Mike Skinner has chased Ron Hornaday all season long, driving day with 4 wins. Every finish but one has been a top 10. Now, he needs just 2 more top 10s, and he'll be the champion.
22 races, folks, 21 top 10s, 4 wins. Ron Hornaday's 1996 numbers, incredible. He needs to finish just 9th or better in the final 2 races, and he just talked to the boss, Dale Earnhardt. Ron, what do you have today?
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a great truck. The guy's done a good job getting the Snapper Chevrolet going, and we just got to sit there and try to finish the top 5. We're going to get that record going of more top 5s than anybody, but got a good truck. We're going to try to sit around and see what we can do in the first half and see if we can get this thing going up front.
To Dick Bergen with a guy who could be a spoiler today.
He sure could. Jack Sprague won his first ever big league race right here in April, and it was a truck event. Jack Sprague is a rocket ship on these mile tracks. He has a reputation as being very aggressive. He's on the pole. How aggressive will you run today, Jack?
Well, we'll run as aggressive as we have to. The Hendrick guy's done a great job on this Quaker State Chevrolet again. Truck's run great right off the truck. It's qualified good, and I believe it'll race good. So, you know, it's the truck we won Milwaukee with and almost won Loudon with, so hopefully we can come home and win this one today.
Well, Jack Sprague has won a total of 3 in 1996. He'd sure like to extend that to 4. He will be a factor today for sure. Let's go to Ken Squire. Ken?
Thank you very much, Dick Berggren. I'm here today with Darrell Waltrip, big truck enthusiast, and of course Larry McReynolds is along as we get to the next to the last race of the season. 300 kilometers, 186 laps to be covered by these 36 competitors today. DW, what about it? Darrell Waltrip, the magnetism of this series. What is it that is bringing, A, the customers out, and 2, the competitors?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Ken, when you look at the spectrum from a Kenny Irwin Jr., who is, you know, a fairly young sprint car driver, midget driver, to an A.J. Foyt, who has driven everything in the world, won Le Mans and all the other races, Daytona. That's the spectrum. You know, I think it's a number of things. One, it's affordability. You can run this series right now without the great big bucks it takes to run Winston Cup. The other thing is these vehicles are driver friendly. I think it's the equalizer. I think all that experience A.J. has lets a kid like Irwin or somebody else get in there, and the truck is the equalizer because it's different. Nobody's got a lot of years driving pickup trucks, so that's the equalizer, I believe.
Well, the big story here today is this point championship battle. Larry McReynolds, what about it?
Well, Ken, you know, everybody's watching the lead that Hornaday has over Skinner. It's 86 points with 2 races to go. But we can't forget about Jack Sprague sitting back there in 3rd, because every time the Truck Series has come to these one-mile racetracks like here at Phoenix, he's been there at the end, and normally he's been at the front of the pack.
1 Mile Jack, they call him. Get ready for great racing action today here on TBS. Beautiful day for a race, wonderful crowd. Stay with us. We'll give you the starting lineup in a moment. We're back with you at Phoenix. Well, why not vote for DW for president?
Well, I mean, I'd have as good a shot as Perot or some of those, you know.
Watch yourself. Let's get to the starting grid right now. Jack Sprague is there, and alongside is Michigan's John Benson. Getting to row 2. And there you're going to find Mike Bliss ready to do some work in that Ford. And, of course, he's terrific on a mile. Won here 3 times in the Silver Crown Series. And Ron Hornaday, leader in the points. In row 3, there you've got Ron Barfield and Joe Nemechek. He's done really well in his appearance in truck race right here today. Row 4 is Mike Skinner, defending champion, and Kenny Irwin. Look out for this guy. What a great Silver Crown champion he's been. Row 5 is Rich Bickle in the Dodge, and alongside Rick Corelli. In row 6 today, you've got Joe Ruttman, and Kenny Wallace is here. For row 7, John Nemechek and Ted Musgrave making an appearance. Row 8 is Jimmy Hensley, and Randy Tolsma is one of those guys coming over from IndyCar racing. Going to row 9, Toby Butler, and you've got Kenny Hendrick with him. For row 10 today, there's Mike Dokken and Lance Norrick. In row 11, yeah, that's right, Supertex, A.J. Foyt ready to play. And the youngster, the former World Motocross champion, Ricky Johnson. Going to row 12 is Harry Gant. Now, between Gant and Foyt, you got what, about 110 years?
Yeah, at least.
And Bobby Labonte is in that row as well. Row 13 is Butch Miller and Robbie Reiser. Row 14 today. Here you've got Brian Refner and Doug George, the two top rookies, side by side. For row 15, it's Terry Cook. Look out for him, and Bobby Dotter, great racing family. In row 16, there's Dave Resendez, and with him comes Carlos Serrano. For row 17, you got Billy Sedgwick, and with him comes Bobby Breback. In row 18, Nathan Butke is there, and Walker Evans to round out the field. And you know who's in that pace truck?
No, look at that big old thing.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That's old Earnhardt himself.
You mean Ironhead's laid up in that thing?
Yeah.
Is that him right there?
Yeah, he's got his Elmo fantasy going. He thinks he's Elmo Langley. Isn't that a beauty, huh?
Yeah. His car takes up that much room, too.
Take a look at the in-cars, in trucks, I beg your pardon.
That cost you.
Mike Bliss is there with one of them. Let's go to the roof. Mike Bliss has won 3 times in Silver Crown on this Phoenix track. Done very well in midget competition here as well. He knows this place and loves it. Now you're riding with John Nemechek. Here's his roof cam on that Precision Gear vehicle, that Chevrolet. Looking out the back of the field. Brian Refner, well back in the field. We'll give you some pretty exciting shots around this 1 mile track that's so tight getting down there into turn number 1. Now here's Joe Nemechek with his limited appearances in truck competition. He too in a Precision Gear rig. And I think we have one more out here. Lance Norwick out of Oklahoma City. His dad is here, the mayor of Oklahoma City, watching this youngster race, and they've got a plan to go all of next year. They're going to run it out.
Nice young man, nice family.
Yep. So we're getting down for a start. Incidentally, in qualifying today for Winston Cup tomorrow, Earnhardt's new teammate takes the pole. Yep, Mike Skinner on the pole for Winston Cup action tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's get down to this race start. The truck's coming to the line. Across, and there's Sprague getting just a bit of a jump into turn number 1.
I think you see why he runs so well on these racetracks, Ken. He got a lot of horsepower in the hood with that engine. That's a B&R out of Winston-Salem, and that B&R stands for be ready, because when you step down on it, you better be ready.
Darrell, you'll see these trucks, they want to get to the bottom of this racetrack. This is one of those racetracks where normally the quickest way around is right around the bottom.
Yeah, and that's what they work so hard on, Larry, is to get the trucks to where they will hook that white line off the corner. That's what you really look for.
That's something that's tough to do here at Phoenix, and you know it, Darrell. You've been here every race we've run. Getting these trucks to turn in the middle without having them lose the rear end, getting in the corner or off the corner, but getting them to turn through the middle of that corner and carry some speed, that's always the thing you got to try to accomplish.
Yeah, NASCAR mandated a little bit bigger rear spoiler here for this race, and looking forward to next week in Las Vegas, they kind of upped the size of the rear blade to keep the things under them better.
Look at Skinner in the number 3 getting underneath Barfield. Gets himself to 5th. Barfield back to 6th.
Yeah, you know, Skinner doesn't usually start 7th. He usually starts on the front row, so I'm sure he's probably got a pretty good truck there that he can move right up with.
Right at that end of qualifying, did Bobby Labonte knock him off?
Yeah.
Bobby Labonte did set him back one spot. So that means that in tomorrow's race, that Skinner car will be starting outside of the front row.
Yeah.
And Bobby Labonte snuck one in there just at the end of qualifying.
He was the last car out, and he beat Skinner just by a fraction.
You see Rick Bickle getting under Kenny Irwin. Again, Irwin's hung on the high side, and those trucks will just follow Rick Bickle right by him.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times off of turn 2 there, the high line will get to where it's pretty good off that corner. You can carry a lot of speed out there, but early in the race with fresh tires, you still want to be right on the bottom of the racetrack.
8th place on that move. And
Boy,
still tied up for 8th place.
I'm telling you, that's tough for both guys, because Bickle's being sucked into the side of Kenny Irwin, and Kenny Irwin is trying to get away from him.
Definitely what you call door handle to door handle.
Ooh, yes.
Could be 3 wide. They had a big, immense wreck out here yesterday. And that turn 4 on a restart, they tried to make it 4 wide there and didn't work. Take a look at this battle continue for 8th spot. Rich Bickle right down on the inside.
And Rutman's, he's laid right up there behind him, waiting for, see, Rutman's trying to get 3 wide now to make the move down here on Bickle. Here he goes. He's got him. Somebody's going to have to give here.
Nice move by Ruttman, moving that Roush rig up through.
Now, how did he do that? He was behind those guys when they came off that corner last lap, and we got trouble off turn 2. Big trouble.
That's the 90. Lance Norwich hard into the wall, and there's another one that spun just beyond him.
I believe that's AJ.
Lance Norwich.
Is that AJ spun back there in the middle of the back straightaway?
Either the 15 or the 51.
Yeah, I believe that's AJ.
Yeah, and I don't know why AJ, if that is him, I don't know how he got in that mess, because he was way back behind him.
A lot of damage on Lance Norwich's front end of his truck there.
It looked like, Larry, I looked over, it looked like he just lost the back end of that truck coming off turn 2.
Lap 6.
Yeah, it just looked like it come out on him.
He was already sideways and tried to correct it, and a little overcorrected it and went right back into the turn 2 outside wall.
Well, that's not going to make Mom and Dad happy if they came up today to watch him run. Boy, he'll pop that inside wall.
Got a
pretty hard.
second there.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be right into our camera. I don't know how AJ, what happened? How did he get in that mess?
I think he was trying to avoid.
Well, that's...
Lance Norwich tears the nose off the number 90, and we're under caution early in the going. Working lap 7. And we'll be back with more of the story from Phoenix, Arizona, after these messages.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the following: Precision Gear, Ultra Wheels, 1-800-COLLECT, and by Mecklenburg Duncan.
Lance Norwich was back in 20th position, trying to work himself up to improve on a 9th place finish. His best up at Bristol was not to happen here today. From his truck. Gets away.
It was just what we said, Darrell. He got a little bit loose, tried to correct it, and just went all the way back the other way with him.
Yeah, it just kind of did a snap on him. He had it cut to the right, and when it come back, it just went dead right. So, bad deal. That turn will do that to you. That's what I was talking about. You can get that high line working off of there later on in the race, get a little rubber up there, but you got to be careful getting up there early on.
There's an interesting story about all those folks up on top of those trucks in the infield area today, and let's get it from Steve.
Ken, we've got a huge crowd in the grandstand, but also on top of the Winston Cup car haulers, Barry Dotson, who is Mike Bliss's crew chief, told me that the folks on top of the car haulers would be watching with more than a passing interest because the tires on these trucks are the same exact tires you'll see in tomorrow's Winston Cup race. And, oh, by the way, that may be of interest to Mr. Waltrip and Mr. McReynolds.
I love those oh, by the ways.
You know, Goodyear's done that a lot here this year. As we go back to green here, Craig leading the pack. Goodyear's brought the same tire for the support race. For instance, the truck race here is the Winston Cup race tomorrow, and that's really something for us to watch close. It gives us a feel for what these tires are going to do.
You see a Hornaday up on the outside there. He made that move off turn 2, and like I say, you can carry some speed off there if you can get hooked up, but he's going to pay the price into 3.
Has to back off and let Benson take over again in second.
Hornaday is so aggressive. I mean, he really reminds you of Earnhardt, the way he drives. He never gives up. You pass him, he tries to pass you back. He doesn't give it to you. You got to take it.
You know, Darrell, I've watched a lot of these truck races this year, and if Hornaday shines in a lot of ways, but one place he shines is on restarts.
Oh, man.
He gets every advantage he can when that green flag comes out after a restart.
He almost won Loudon in a truck that I guarantee you was total wreck because he hit the wall 2 or 3 times. He almost won Loudon because they had a couple of restarts right at the end of the race. Passed everybody going into the 3rd turn on the last lap.
You don't give up nothing.
Here he is getting aggressive down on the inside. Takes it back out to the wall, into 1.
I think that's that Saturday night racing in him, you know, where you only got a 30 lapper or 100 laps or whatever to get it done, and you can't give anybody an inch.
It's so hard to pass, especially here at Phoenix. If you can get an advantage and get by 1 or 2 of them on a restart, of course, you can't jump the start to the green flag displayed, but if you can get those 1 or 2 positions, that's just the less you're going to have to work on into the race.
Hornaday back about 3 car lengths this time by, in 3rd, qualified in 4th.
We got a black flag on somebody. Who'd they black flag?
Second lap, they've had it out, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Get that from NASCAR in a moment. They say that's coming out for the 99 on Musgrave, and it looked like he came out and did a little extra passing before he came to the flag at the start, and they're going to give him a stop and go. That's on Musgrave in the number 99.
Yeah, that's boy, I tell you what, here he comes on the pit lane now. Whoa, he better whoa it up.
He's got to maintain that pit road speed or he'll be back in here again.
You know, I think that's a little bit unfair. I think a man ought to be able to, under the green, nobody's in the pit. I'd like to see the speed limit lifted up a little bit for just situations like this right here. This just about eliminates him.
He's going to have to stop just long enough to get going again. The leader's just come off 4, so he shouldn't go a lap down.
No, I think he's going to be okay. I thought he would probably go a lap down, but he's going to be okay.
He's still got to maintain that pit road speed.
Take a look at Jimmy Hensley here making a run. Hensley pulling up into number 30. That's back in 16th position. That 15 is Rick Johnson. Saw him earlier in the Red Dog car this year that Kenny Wallace is chauffeuring today. There you see Michael Dokken in that 64. And down on the inside, trying to move beneath him, is Robbie Reiser. 42 is much further back in the pack, back in 25th spot.
All that traffic there looks like a busy Saturday night in Franklin, Tennessee around the square.
Whoa, Dokken loose. Refner comes up through, and he's going to drag Bobby Dotter right with him. Dotter, the Chicago campaigner, picking up a spot.
I've seen several trucks get a little loose off turn 2 over there. It's just they're not getting the bite off there they'd like to get, I guess.
You know, a lot of times, Darrell, the trucks won't quite turn in the center like they should, and finally they get back to the gas so hard the front wheels will bite and the rear wheels aren't gripping like they should.
Yeah.
That's Butch Miller, who is now in 25th. In the 19 after he has swapped a ride here. Getting ready to swap some paint as well. Meanwhile, up in front, Benson has closed up on Sprague. Coming by, completing 18 laps, and you've got Sprague under pressure now. Smooth driving. Johnny Benson Jr. right there, the pride of Michigan, coming after Sprague. Steve Burns can add.
This is just the 7th race for this truck and this race team. Crew Chief Scott Treichler said they're trying to put a deal together for next year to run the entire schedule. Now, of those 7 races, David Green, Mike McLaughlin, Michael Dokken, Steve Park, Wally Dallenbach, and today, Johnny Benson, all in that truck.
The winner here in April, Sprague, with about a 1 truck length advantage. Here comes Benson, paring it down.
They may have only run that truck 7 times this year, but every time they run it, it's been competitive and up in front of the pack.
Yeah,
Look at here's Benson getting that bite on the bottom.
Yeah, it's quite an advantage to be able to just run every now and then pick and choose the caliber of drivers that he's chosen for that truck. It's a good truck. The guys know it, and so he's getting some good drivers in it, and that really gives him an advantage. He's well prepared, comes to the racetrack ready to go. He's not running for points, so he can, maybe pull a little lower gear and drive a little more aggressive.
There's 3rd, 4th, and 5th coming by. You watch Hornaday, followed by Bliss. There's Skinner. Rutland right there. You see the interval between those 2 leaders who qualified 1st and 2nd. In all, 12 trucks broke the old record, Skinner's old mark that was set in April in qualifying for this 300-kilometer event.
Talking about that 18 truck, Kurt Rourke. We
got a smoker down here in number 1, and that's the 32. That's the young man Kenny Hendrick out of Chino, California.
No caution yet.
There, the caution
just coming out.
Yeah, I think that's
yellow is out at lap 22.
I think that's a wise move. I hate to see an engine smoke like that, and you never know what you're going to get.
164 laps remain from this point. We've already had 2 cautions in the event. Good fight up in front between Sprague and Benson. Duralube aerial camera here at the Phoenix International Raceway, giving you some indication of the immense crowd that has shown up on a Saturday afternoon. The entire front grandstand packed for this next to the last event in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. After 24 of 186 laps, Sprague, Benson, Hornaday, the top 3. You've got Mike Bliss right in there knocking on the door and all the rest. And let's go down and find out more about Lance Norrick's condition after that hard crash in those first few laps. Dick Berggren?
Well,
Well, Ken, the bad news is that Lance Norrick's truck has really demolished. The nose is very much flattened out in that thing. The good news is this 28-year-old rookie has just walked out of the infield care center. What happened out there?
I went into turn one. Truck got a little bit loose right in the middle of that. A truck on the outside of me. Tried to catch it and try to keep away from him. Rubbed him a little bit, and it went loose again. By the time I caught it, it hit the wall, and then the throttle stuck wide open. Then it hit the other wall. So it was kind of a wild ride.
Throttle sticks wide open. It usually doesn't work out too well, does it, Darrell?
No, it doesn't. As you can see, that inside wall stopped that wide open throttle.
And that turn one, right where you see the field now behind Elmo Langley with the pace truck, that's got one of those decreasing radiuses, and so you need to get out of the throttle a little early. And those veterans really know how to do that, and some of these new folks get caught on that, and by the time they get back in the pedal, it's almost too late. In that case, it was. So we'll take another break. We're 25 laps down. We're with the Craftsman Truck Series here at Phoenix. 3/4 of the lap completed, just back under green. And here's Johnny Benson rolling to the inside. Hornaday took a shot just after the start into turn number 1. Trying to take a spot away from Benson. It wasn't there. Skinner works on Bliss on the inside. The black number 3 pulling up on the number 2 for 4th spot, but not getting through.
Hornaday is, I mean, he almost tried to take the lead on the restart, which that's what he's famous for. Great restarts. But his truck's a little bit tight off the 2 over there, looks to me like. And the 18 truck looks like he wants to get under the 24. Great shot back there on their in truck camera. In whatever car, camera truck that is.
Looks like right in the center of the corner, maybe Benson, especially down in 3 and 4, they just went through 1 and 2. Benson's truck goes through the center, right on the bottom, but Sprague's running that high line, especially through 3 and 4, and maybe keeps some momentum. And see there, you see Benson makes a run on him. Sprague's truck drifts up, but they hit that straightaway, and
it gives them a little bit more speed by taking that higher line.
Keeping RPMs up a little
higher. Keeps it up just a little bit, and it's easier on the tires. So if he can maintain the lead running that line, then that's the way to go.
That's the thing we got to remember. They're going to lap 62 on these tires. They cannot change tires. We will have a competition yellow on lap 62, and they can do normal pit stop procedures and change 4 tires, and that's got to get them to lap 124, which will actually be the halfway point.
Look at Kenny Irwin here, stuffing that number 98 Ray Besta's machine right beneath Bill Elliott's Barfield truck on the outside, even across down in there.
You know, Kenny Irwin's he's had a busy day so far. He ran side by side with Bickle there for a while. Now he's side by side with Barfield. Either he's not cutting anybody any slack, or they're not cutting him any, one or the other.
Bobby Labonte is on pit road in the 77. That battle for 9th spot continuing. As you see from that aerial platform, and now back down, low angle. Irwin. Wow, here comes Mike Bliss beginning to make a move on Hornaday down the main chute.
He got him.
I'll tell you, one of the best races I've seen in years, Darrell, was up there at that Evergreen Speedway up in the Northwest this year.
The
Bliss and Hornaday.
AJ's,
what a show put on, and AJ's on pit
He's
road.
in the pit. And I think he may come in a little hot.
AJ, number 51 on pit road. One of the highlights of yesterday was to see Bobby Allison walk up to AJ and say, I just came by to remind you that I am your relief driver.
That's great.
Hood is up on Foyt's number 51 on pit road.
Boy, look at that race we got going on there for 4th place. Wow.
Take a look at this. There you see Hornaday on the outside. Under a lot of pressure. Bliss is there. Ooh, looks like Hornaday may be having a little handling problem.
Yeah, I think the handle's gone off his truck just ever so slightly.
But he's not going to give it up. Skinner's right around the bottom. He's actually been below the yellow line the last couple of corners.
I tell you one thing, Hornaday has got the best engine I've seen him have this year. Because normally he fights works hard through the corner, but doesn't have a lot of straightaway speed. Today he's moving down that straightaway.
He's handling good on the straightaway.
He is. He got one of them old man engines in there.
There's Joe Ruttman in the 80, desperate for that win. Looked so much like he had it at Loudon. Last lap, last corner, bingo, in the wall when he got punted. Now there's your interval between those 2 leaders. Then you see Bliss in 3rd, and there's that battle for 4th as it goes down the main chute. And it's Ruttman opening up the inside.
I'm really impressed, and I have been for most of this year, actually, how these trucks handle so well the way they do, running side by side in traffic and nobody really seems to be out of control. They seem to be stuck to the racetrack very well.
Toby Butler back there in 8. Ken Schrader, number 52. You see him there.
Yeah, that's Toby Butler in Schrader's truck. I think.
Yes, it is. Yep.
He took a heck of a flick about 2 weeks ago at Bakersfield.
Boy, he
Real
did.
Scary wreck.
He did. That
Scary
was-
wreck.
Is that McRae? It wasn't anything. He bent the seat. He bent everything in that break. Yeah. Well, here's Joe Nemechek on the 87, and here's Hornaday's story being updated now. Hornaday, that we mentioned, maybe having a handling problem. Maybe Steve Burns can fill us in.
Ken, Doug Williams, the crew chief, just gave me the okay sign. He said they're just fine. He's just kind of settling into a rhythm right now.
Looking at Barfield.
Now that's a good.
Fighting with Nemechek. Nemechek has the spot. Excuse me, Darrell.
That's a good story. I've never known Hornaday to have a rhythm. I mean, pretty much all over the place most of the time. So I guess they're trying to settle him into a rhythm. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Voigt's number 51 being rolled back and going to the garage area. Early retiree, A.J. Voigt. He qualified about 7/10 faster than he practiced. I mean, he turned a lap out here to qualify 18th for this race.
I think that's the same truck he's getting ready, and I think he's already tested over at Las Vegas for the last truck race.
Indeed, he has. Going to be there next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun race. Big show. These trucks are over around 170 miles an hour. And I'm going to run. My brother's going to run. There'll be a bunch of Winston Cup guys over there.
31st to 16th. Here's Resendez in the 7. And look at him continue to pour it on.
You know, he's been impressive this year, Larry. I mean, I've seen Resendez run Busch cars and a few Cup races, but he has won 3 races in that truck this year and on every different kind of racetrack. And moving right toward the front right now, he has done a whale of a job this year.
He's picked up 14th as he gets around Rick Johnson. Incidentally, that number 15 truck, the yellow stripe, that's that former motocross world champion. He's going to run the full circuit next year. He is set.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on him. A lot of people say he's got some real ability.
Take a look at Irwin down here working on Hornaday. Hornaday falling back another time. This will put him back to 7.
I don't think that's the rhythm they were looking for.
I believe they're going to have to go to work on that truck here during this competition yellow.
I think he's loose.
Bobby Labonte out of the race, and Dick Berggren is with him.
We talk about an up and down day. About an hour before this race, Ken, this guy put his Winston Cup car on the pole for tomorrow's event. Today, he's the second truck out. What happened, Bobby?
Something started tightening up in the engine. Kevin Dorn let me drive his truck out here. He called me. He wanted to know if I'd be interested in driving. I said, sure, I need some laps out here anyway. But he's on he's trying to get everything ready for next year. He's got a sponsor lined up, I believe, and he's got some trucks being built and equipment being brought in to make it a lot better deal for a full series. Looking for a driver, I think, and so I think he's going to do good. It's just a shame that we couldn't finish today's race, but he's got a good start on it, and he's a really good guy to work with. So we come out here today to just see about getting his feet wet, and I learned a little bit, and these little trucks are fun.
Ken, I bet there's a dozen teams here today that are doing exactly the same thing, trying to get ready to run the full season next year.
Take a look at Benson closing in on the leader. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people looking toward next year. And here's Benson. He's got it throttled right on the bottom, holding that line. He's there for first place.
I believe Sprague got tired of Benson running all over the back of him. Benson's been up beside him, had to nose alongside him several times. I believe Sprague said, hey, man, you lead a while. You want it that bad.
You had to believe that as good as Benson's truck was working on the bottom, he was going to get by him eventually. They had stretched out to about a 6-second lead over third place Mike Bliss.
Yeah, they're definitely pulling away from everybody else.
I think it's interesting that Bobby Labonte rig that Kevin Doran owns out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I mean, he goes way back in sports car stuff here, but he started on short tracks, and he's very serious about getting one of these truck programs complete for the entire 25 race, maybe 26 race, we understand, for next year. They may add one more event. Well, here's Hornaday. And he is fighting a difficult rig at the present time, and Steve Burns can tell us more.
Well, I should know better than to trust all these crew chiefs, Larry McReynolds, because, after Darrell Walker said, no, he's not in a rhythm, I said, I better find somebody else I can ask. So I slipped down in the stall here and asked one of the pit crew members who shall go unnamed, and he goes, oh, yeah, we're tight, no doubt about it.
Well, there you see.
We know better than to tell the pit reporters what our trucks or cars are really doing, because we know everybody else has got TV monitors in their pit cart.
And we also know that a guy like Ron Hornaday is not going to settle for getting passed. He wants to be passing people, not getting passed. So that's a dead giveaway right there, the direction you're going in.
Backwards to 7th is Hornaday, and falling into the clutches of Toby Butler, the number 52 truck at the present time. Big advantage continuing to be built by Johnny Benson and Jack Sprague. Numbers 18 and 24 respectively, first and second here at Phoenix, Arizona, with 47 complete this time by. The NFL on TNT makes its final appearance from Foxborough as the New England Patriots going to host their AFC rival, tough old Buffalo Bills. It all gets underway 7 p.m. Eastern with pro football tonight. That's coming up on TNT this weekend. Great action tomorrow, 7 p.m. Take a look at this struggle continuing for the lead. Benson has it, but Sprague is really trying to take it back. He's finished 6th twice here last year, then 1 this past April. And they called him one-track Jack after that. Now it's 1 mile Jack, and he's like, ooh. Skinner getting loose in the number 3, trying to close in on Mike Bliss in the number 2. And Joe Ruttman has moved by Bliss. Joe Ruttman, a man on a mission. The mission trying to keep his job with Jack Roush. I guess most folks know Chuck Bown has a deal for next year. In fact, next weekend he's going to be testing Winston Cup equipment for Roush. Looking forward to 1997. But the former Winston West champion is going to be a Roush truck driver in this Craftsman Series all of 1997. And there's now rumor that Roush may have 2 trucks next year. But the second truck is the iffy one, and the iffy driver seems to be Joe Ruttman. 54 of 186 laps are now complete. Oh, we got trouble in the main straightaway. Jimmy Hensley loose, gathers it back, but that car took an awful hit. Up on the nose, Jimmy Hensley, and that Mopar product is in big trouble. Came across the line, looked like he got whacked, and away we go into the 3rd caution period. And the 61 also gets collected in that one. That's Randy Tolsma, another one of those open-wheel drivers, making a run. He's going to run the entire season next year in truck competition. Take a look at what happened here, gentlemen.
He was on the bottom of the racetrack.
Sure, he probably gets capped in the right rear here. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, you know, and you can't really say the 15 come down on him. You know, maybe Hensley's truck drifted up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Ricky Johnson in the 15, right there. Right there.
Yeah, it's probably, the spotter probably could have even told Jimmy that he was clear at that point, and Jimmy was going to move over into the preferred line. 15 just, it really didn't have any option there.
And sometimes that's right off turn 4. Your truck will push just a little bit up on the straightaway, and the momentum will carry you up there.
From the 44, Brian Reffner giving you these pictures of what happened.
That happened right in front of a lot of trucks and a lot of traffic.
Good job on everybody's part to avoid any further contact.
A lot of frustration for Jimmy Hensley. We keep hearing he may be with the Petty team in that 43 truck next year, when that driver, number 43, drives for some guy out of Franklin, Tennessee or something.
Good man.
Any truth in that?
I don't know about Jimmy.
Back with you. Duralube camera giving you this shot, and take a look at this speed shot of what happened out here. To Jimmy Hensley, Idaho's Randy Tolsma.
It's got together up off the corner, and maybe one come down a little bit, one went up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll find out what Jimmy has to say.
From Dick Berggren.
Well, Jimmy just hit the wall at, what, about 100 miles an hour or so. His only injury, he has scratched the palm of his hand on the tie wrap getting out of the truck. What happened to you out there, Jimmy?
Well, I got under Ricky Johnson, and I thought I had him cleared coming off the corner, and evidently he was still up beside him a little bit, and I came over and kind of turned me the wrong way into the wall. It was my fault.
His fault. You don't hear that very often, Ken Squire.
But you would hear it from Jimmy Hensley.
Yeah, he's
straight up guy.
It's really good. I know Larry will agree, and I know I do. To hear a guy say, hey, it's my fault, don't blame the other guy. Don't get down on him.
And sometimes, you know, the spotter just is at a bad angle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It looked like he's cleared. We go back to green here with Benson taking the field.
59 laps are complete as Chris Morgan throws the green out over the Craftsman Truck Series here NASCAR competition in Phoenix, Arizona.
I believe we'll see a little bit tighter race at the front now because Sprague and Benson had got away from Ruttman and them guys. Be curious to see if they can run with them now. I believe Ruttman's got a pretty quick truck.
Indeed he has. He cleared all the way up through the traffic. And I'll tell you who else is coming is Musgrave.
Oh, yeah. He got his stop and go, and he's back in the hunt.
Ted Musgrave has been running some terrific laps. He had to go all the way to the rear on a stop and go. Finds himself in 17th position. Now, there are your leaders. There's Sprague taking a look to the inside in this battle of the oil companies up in front. And right behind them, that is Joe Ruttman, former USAC stock car. He's got a few years on him and a few years on this track. This is a track where he could really do well, Darrell.
Yeah, he used to come out here and run the Silver
Caution
Crown. I
out.
thought we got a caution for, the yellow.
Competition caution at 62. Now, this is a shorty. There are 2 cautions in this race. This is the first of them. You can duck in now and get some tires if you need to, but this is not what we would call the halftime, although it's the final third time this time around. Way down the way, we're going to have a second one for 5 minutes at lap 124. So this is a 4-tire stop, fuel and go.
Yeah, that was what they did. Instead of going to halfway, which would be pretty far on one set of tires, they just broke it down into thirds, and that way everybody stays on fairly fresh rubber.
And it would have been stretching the fuel if they'd have went to halfway 94 laps.
Probably so.
Some of them may have not made it on fuel, so this way they'll come in, they'll put fuel in, they'll put 4 tires on, they'll make normal pit stop adjustments like wedge, track bar. The pace truck will continue to move. He'll really slow his pace down, but now you can go a lap down if he would come around and catch you in the pits.
That's correct. Yeah, you can get caught here. You need to get back out.
But this right here is what makes this series affordable, more affordable than any other. They got truck drivers down there. They got everybody down there doing a little something, so they don't have to have the high buck crews.
Including Steve Burns doing a little something on Jack Sprague.
Yeah, I talked to Dennis Conner just a moment ago, Ken, and he said, I don't think we're going to make any changes with the exception of tires. This truck is too good. There's no sense making any changes. Now, Mike Bliss, on the other hand, they said they would change some air pressure in the 2 truck. Now let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, Mike Skinner's crew is going to change just about everything that they can possibly change on this stop. They're going to change the wedge. They're going to change the track bar, 4 tires, throw some fuel in it. The truck has been tight. They're going to try to change that and loosen her up a little bit.
There's the 16 of Hornaday as they go all the way around on Ron Hornaday in their bid to keep him up to win the championship. Jack Sprague is rolling, and he is away. And both of them pitted in the center of pit road here. Second one out will be the number 98. Rolling quickly is Kenny Irwin Jr. out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll take a quick break as Rick Corelli, Kenny Wallace, and Ron Hornaday begin to roll. We get ready to resume here at Phoenix.
Race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? March 6, 1994, Richmond International Raceway. Early in the race, surprise contender Rick Mast in car 1 battled his way to the front against the 6 of Mark Martin. Car 42 of Kyle Petty struggled against rising young star Jeff Gordon in the 24. Ernie Irvin, driving number 28, was looking for his first victory at Richmond. But who won? Here are the contenders. The answer is coming up. Ernie Irvin dominated Richmond, scoring his first win of 1994. After a great early run, Mark Martin was suffering with a sticky throttle and couldn't hang on. A lost tire after leaving pit road destroyed the chances of a win for Jeff Gordon. With his major competition out of the way, Ernie Irvin cruised to his 10th career Winston Cup victory. Who Won was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud.
We're just back under green. 122 laps remain. 64 have been completed. And out in front, Johnny Benson. Sprague right there with Ruttman, Bliss, and Skinner.
6
right
is off the
top
pace.
5. And the 6 is in trouble. Rick Corelli. Rick Corelli running very slowly at the start. The High Plains drifter. Not going to drift up to the front of this one. Look at Sprague. Look to the inside. Coming down the chute. Going back for first.
Fresh tire.
Set on the pole here. Second time this year. And here comes Joe Ruttman right with him. A determined effort by Ruttman.
Those fresh tires, really make a difference. And Sprague was quick in the get-go there, so I'm sure that's going to make him quick again.
We see Skinner moving up, too. It sounds like they made a lot of adjustments on that.
Whoa, look at this off turn 3 here, man. Whoa, whoa. Hornaday got shoved all the way. There were 3 wide off the corner there, and Hornaday got shoved out. He was the loser in that transition. Look at Ruttman. There's Ruttman up under the 18 truck. He's going for the lead. Uh-oh. 3 wide again.
Joe Ruttman bears down, holds it on the inside. Big tough guy, and he is really manhandling that rig as he crowds up in there and gives Skinner the inside. They can stack him 3 wide coming down.
They're racing all over the place right now. Hornaday, he's in a fight back here, and here's Skinner and Ruttman, and look at Hornaday fell behind all those trucks, and they all got together over on the back, and he got by most of them again.
Whoa, look at Skinner crowding the inside this time in 3.
Unless he's running off fresh tires, I believe they've made some improvement on that truck.
Big time.
I think they've helped the heck out of him.
He took some wedge out. Said they made some air pressure adjustments. I'd say they probably maybe let some air out of the right front, maybe put some in the right rear, and he's done moved into 2nd place.
Brought Benson to 3rd. Ruttman drops to 4th. Getting these pictures from Mike Bliss back in 5th. Just behind him, it's Toby Butler in 6th. Kenny Irwin is in 7th. Irwin's having a great day. Hornaday is in 8th. Joe Nemechek in 9th.
I want you to watch this again. Watch these guys coming off turn 4 here. They get 3 wide. And whoa, 18 gets into him.
Benson got a little bit loose there.
Benson gets into the Ruttman. Ruttman gets into Skinner. And Bliss is sitting there saying, I don't think I like this kind of racing.
It's over 100 laps to go. They're racing like it's 5 to go.
I tell you, the 7 truck's off the pace, too. He's just all of a sudden backed out of it.
I disagree, Gerald. I think Bliss loves this kind of racing.
I think he'd like to have had about an 18-inch right rear tire on that truck.
We just got a report that Rick Corelli had missed a shift on that restart. That's the reason he fell back, switched over, and got it back going.
And Resendez, who had run up to 7th and fallen to 11th, is now on pit road. Unscheduled stop for Resendez, who had that great start with a victory at Homestead. Homestead, the home of the Grand National Finale next week in Florida on that Ralph Sanchez mile and a half. And TBS will be there for the finale of the All-Pro Series next week. And I'll tell you, they had the Southwest Tour, which is an All-Pro type car here yesterday, and what a show they put on this mile. That's going to be something next Saturday on TBS. The All-Pro Championship race, as well as the Grand National final qualifying race. It's next Saturday here. Take a look at Jack Sprague, now having to worry about Skinner. Benson in 3rd. Ruttman is there in 4th.
Probably from a horsepower standpoint of view, Larry, those are probably the 2 trucks with the most horsepower under the hood. The 24 and the 3. They make a lot of power, and they usually really run well on these mile racetracks.
They really do, Darrell, and you've seen that all year long, especially on tracks that has straightaways like this. They really shine on the straightaway, and when they get their trucks handling good, like both these trucks seem to be right now, they start walking away from the field like you see them do it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Steve Burns, who's on pit road.
Ken, I was checking the record books. Over 130 drivers have qualified in the Truck Series this year. Attempting to join those ranks in Las Vegas, Felix Nighthawk Giles will attempt to be the first Black American. Tell us about your program.
Well, it's definitely an honor to get the chance to go out here for Panasonic Car Audio. Their slogan is "Go play in the traffic," and that's what we intend to do.
Best of luck to you.
Yes, it's really wonderful just to have a chance to grab the baton from Wendell Scott and to carry on his legacy. So I have some very big shoes to fill.
Thank you, Felix.
Thank you very much.
Wendell was a winner. Oh, he's now a Winston Cup.
And a great gentleman as well. And you know, I look forward to seeing this young man in our sport. I think he will add a lot to the Winston Cup or to Craftsman truck racing. I'd like to see him do real well.
How about this move by Musgrave? That's Musgrave on a roll and picking up another spot. He gets by Barfield. That'll give him 10th position.
Well, that's a truck that's very capable. We know Mark Martin won Wilkesboro in that truck, and Jeff Burton has driven the truck on a number of occasions. So it's kind of a house truck where Ralph Stitch's, all of his drivers play a little bit.
Let's find out about that number 7 truck. Go to Dick Bergman.
And let's go to Jeff Ledine. He's not only a fine Winston Cup driver, he also owns that number 7 truck. What happened? Your driver was just in.
Yeah, we had a vibration. We just changed tires on that stop, and he went out right away. It was vibrating. We checked the left front. He thought it was there. We didn't see anything. Nothing was loose. Checked the right front. Nothing loose. Put the wheels back on. Now he says it's fine, so we don't know exactly what was wrong. It's a shame because Davis moved from the rear right to the front. The CVC Ford was running really good. This kind of takes him out of contention for any kind of win or good finish, but hey, we might make the lap up, get back up front. We'll keep trying.
Anything could happen, Ken.
Yeah, they've had 3 wins this year after that first win at Homestead. They've been strong. 1 at Sears, 1 at Nashville. Take a look at the front 4 right now. Sprague deployed in first with Skinner in second. Benson in third. Joe Rutland is in fourth, and just behind them in fifth, Mike Bliss, followed by Toby Butler in that number 52, and he's beginning to feel Toby Butler some pressure at the present time from Irwin.
Yeah, we got 3 Chevrolets out front and a couple of Fords in hot pursuit here, so looks like the brands are matching up pretty well today.
Look at that 52 and 98 at it. This guy Irwin, if he stays with this series, boy, is he going to make some history.
Yeah, he
is some racer.
He is. He's a good driver. I watched him race on Saturday night or Thursday night or whatever night thunder they have every now and then, and Indianapolis and what nights that he run up there, and he always is real impressive.
Terrific in Silver Crown, and anybody can handle those rigs and be consistently in the top. It is somebody to watch, and he's one of them. Johnny Irwin Jr. in number 98. Oh, there goes Musgrave for another move. He's got Nemechek pinned. Down to the inside, and Musgrave, in his first appearance of the season, goes up into 9th spot in the Craftsman Truck Series. Ted Musgrave on a mission. He is flying through this field.
You know, sometimes adversity is when you rise to your best, and you know, having been black flagged and losing almost a lap, it puts a lot of inspiration in the driver, so I'm sure he's having at it right now.
Yeah, he's having at Hornaday right now. Ron Hornaday's in 8th spot. Musgrave from the rear is closed right up on him now.
If Hornaday's getting into a rhythm, I'd like to know what song he's listening to. I don't want to get that on my CD.
They still got some work to do on that truck.
That old song, Shake Hands with a Loser. Remember that one? Marty Robbins used to sing that. Yeah. But he's no loser. He's still running with the championship, but he is not having any fun out there at the present time.
Even on a bad day, he's holding his own.
Steve Burns.
Well, the kind of music they're making down here in the pits is crew chief Doug Williams said they put a rubber in the right rear and raised the Panhard bar.
Sound like to me that truck's been a little bit on the tight side. They've stiffened that right rear spring by putting that rubber in it. They've raised the roll center by raising the track bar and trying to free that thing up. And that's, you know, we talking about Ted Musgrave. That's where I've been watching his truck. His truck carries a tremendous amount of speed right through the center of the corner. And that'll let that truck run off the corner and really run down the straightaway. And that's where he's really shining, right in the center of these corners.
Yeah, and that's what's so hard to do here, as you well know. Get the things where they'll roll through the center and not be loose.
Kenny Irwin Jr. and Toby Butler continue that war. Butler, for the moment, has the best of it. He's in 6th. Kenny Irwin Jr. back there in 7th. Up in front, Sprague with the lead. Has about 4 truck lengths on Mike Skinner. Following him in 3rd is Johnny Benson, another 4 lengths. And just behind Benson comes Rutland. Remember, Rutland was in that skirmish for the lead, and it cost him. Put him back 3 spots. Must have worked his way back through.
Another guy that's moving pretty well, too. He's in just taking Bickle here is Harry Gant. He started pretty far back. I think he's up in the top 12 or 14 here now. And
14.
Passing people pretty easily.
Harry Gant, who started 23rd, is indeed up to 14th. Nearly won that race at Nashville this year. That was right in his clutches until a 4th turn crash with Skinner. Same kind of thing that got Rutland in that last lap over there at New Hampshire International Speedway this year.
And I talked to Skinner about that, and he said, man, he said, if there's anything I've ever done, if I could just take that one thing back, I'd take that back. Because it was an accident, but he just, you know, needed to pay the leader a little bit more respect.
It was pretty cool about it.
Yeah, he was. I think Harry was kind of like a lot of us are. He just tickled death be running good, you know. Had a shot at winning one.
there's a tremendous separation that's now being built up, almost a third of a lap between Mike Bliss in the 5th position and Toby Butler back in 6th. There's where the big interval is.
Well, you take the 18 truck. Now, he was up there racing with Sprague, and they didn't do anything to either truck that I'm aware of other than just change tires, and that's how much difference sometimes there can be just in one set of tires. The other, not a tremendous amount, but just enough to keep him from being up there challenging for the lead.
Look at Musgrave take that Jack Roush truck up to the outside on Hornaday. That's where the fight is at the present time, and it's a dandy. And it's going to be down the main straightaway with Musgrave picking up still another spot. Ted Musgrave is rolling now in the Roush equipment. Let's find out more from the man himself, Jack Roush.
Well, Jack really knows that truck, Ken. That's the truck that won Wilkesboro. How about it? How different is that truck from the others, Jack?
Well, we've had 2 parallel development programs going with the truck this year. The Excite truck, the truck that Mark won with, the 99 truck, Ted Musgrave's driving today, is a result of Ford development of a stiffer chassis that they're encouraging all the Ford teams to use. The 80 truck that Joe Rumpin is driving is a result of a continuing evolution of the traditional stock car, Mike Laughlin, Ronnie Hopkins type NASCAR and Musgrave National trucks.
Well, there you have it, guys. A lot of technology developing here in the Truck Series.
And it sure is working. There goes 7th spot. Musgrave climbing the ladder another notch. Toby Butler comes back after him into 1.
Yeah, Butler is he's been tenacious today. We've seen him do a lot of side-by-side racing, and of course I'm sure Schrader's over there encouraging that as well. That's Kenny Schrader's truck, and that truck's usually pretty competitive.
Even across for 7th spot. Ted Musgrave down on the bottom and up on the high side of an AC Delco rig, losing a little bit of time on that corner. Toby Butler, Hornaday on top of him, and Joe Nemechek right behind. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Excuse me.
Darrell, Ted's truck, it's working on the bottom and on the top. He passes Hornaday on the high side. He goes by the next truck on the bottom side. You know, just to elaborate a little bit what Jack said about this truck, Ford has worked hard on this type of a chassis, and they've done nothing magic for the suspension or the geometry. They've just tried to work on stiffening the chassis, especially in the rear, where maybe a lot of teams take it for granted, the track bar area and places like that. And they've tried to do it and add bars in the right places and not get the truck too heavy as well.
And the people at home are probably saying, well, what in the world is this? All the chassis are stiff. Well, there's a lot of areas that you can improve upon, more than just geometry, which we all seem to be hung up on. More areas that you can improve on. You can stiffer chassis. You might be able to run softer springs, be a little easier on the tires, maybe a little softer shock, be a little easier on the tires. Everything is related to the tire.
So a lot of years have gone up on folks building cars for short track all over the country. Where do you stiffen them up?
You looking at me?
Larry?
Well, you don't want this stuff to move around. When you want the suspension pieces to be stiff. When that driver turns the steering wheel, you don't want any flex in the tie rod. You don't want flex in the drag link. When that track bar takes that load in the rear, you don't want any movement in the mounts, and that's what Ford's worked hard on this particular chassis.
It comes down to one thing, and we keep seeing it over and over and over again and hearing it more and more all the time. It's detail. You pay attention to the small things. You can see the big things. They're there. They're obvious. You got to pay attention to the little things.
And you may do these things to these trucks or cars, and you may go out there on a 10-lap run, and you may not notice a difference. Where it's going to show up is 100 laps into a race when things really get hot and start moving around.
Well, right now the halfway money goes to Jack Sprague. Yep, Jack Sprague just took the halfway money, and there's the battle for second place as we talk about the big things up in front once again. And that big thing right there of Joe Rutland's number 8 lumbers along in 4th. Just in front of him is Johnny Benson in 3rd, and Skinner is up there in 2nd. It's a 3-way battle for second spot. Here comes Benson out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's right back on top of Skinner. Comes underneath him down the main straightaway. Not to be had this time is Skinner.
Running up on some lap trucks there. That's the truck of Terry Cook.
Easy to get around lap traffic on this mile?
Yeah, it's usually fairly easy. You got an outside groove here on both ends of the racetrack. A little tough down that back straightaway, but if a guy will give you that outside line, you can get by fairly easy. Pretty easy racetrack to run on, really.
Back up front. Here's that battle for second spot, and there's your leader, Jack Sprague, who knows his way around this track like no other. continuing to dominate here at Phoenix, Arizona on TBS. Phoenix, Arizona, mile track. NASCAR Craftsman Trucks next to the last race of 1996. They'll close out their season in Vegas, and from the Deeraloo pit camera, you see some of the folks that have gathered here today. Maybe the largest truck crowd of the 1996 campaign, and it looks like it's only going to get bigger. Now, we're watching this story at the moment involving Mike Skinner. Getting some reports that once in a while there's a little puff of white smoke out of the back of that car. Valve problem perhaps here?
Yeah, more than likely it's broke a valve spring, and that lets the valve float a little bit. It'll pop the piston every now and then, and as soon as it gets tired of popping that piston, it'll pop the head off of it, and he'll be in the pits.
Well, he's dropped a spot. He's lost one position to Benson, and you can see that Ruttman is closed right up on him here, and Toby Butler is also closing him down. Maybe we can get more from Dick Berggren.
Well, how about we'll go right straight to the crew chief, Richie Burgess. Richie, there's smoke coming out. You're dropping back a little. What is the problem?
They say it's smoking just a little bit, but that's not causing any problems right now. You know, we're just trying to get the chassis dialed in. It's close, but you know we still got to do a little bit more work there at the third brake there, and I think we'll be okay.
I just want to check. You're saying the engine's okay?
Yeah, so far we're okay.
All right, Ken.
Well, you know, that can be something that they do not, the driver doesn't detect, the crew doesn't detect. Some spotter around the racetrack can see that puff of smoke every now and then, and that's not a good sign.
And they've reported it to NASCAR. And here's Skinner that qualified in 7th. Next year, we're going to see Jay Sauter in this rig. Had that tremendous race at Milwaukee, Larry. Just was fantastic. And 3rd at Bristol. Jay Sauter is no slouch, and he's going to take over. And as we mentioned earlier, Skinner is going to start outside of the front row in the Winston Cup event here tomorrow. Bobby Labonte is going to be on the pole, and I'm sure you've all heard that Terry Labonte had a big wreck here yesterday, crashed in turn 4, and has broken a wrist right below the index finger. And perhaps we can get more from Steve Burns on the condition of Terry Labonte, who is fighting for the national championship in Winston Cup racing. What's the story today down there with the Hendrick folks?
Car owner Rick Hendrick is here. Jack Sprague is leading, but Rick, tell us about Terry Labonte's hand injury.
Well, today's a great day compared to yesterday. You know, we weren't sure we might need a backup driver, but doctors worked hard on it yesterday and last night. He was comfortable in the car today with no pain and ran pretty quick this morning. I think he's going to be just fine in the race. All the doctors out here have just done a great job, and we're feeling a lot better about it today.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
Take a look at Joe Ruttman. Not being intimidated by a little bit of smoke there on number 3.
Yeah, it's probably a matter of time. I mean, I'm not trying to wish them any bad luck or anything, but when they start puffing out the pipe like that, there's something bad going on. It's not supposed to do that.
Ruttman stays right down to the bottom. Skinner on the outside. You watch this one for 3rd.
And Bliss is closing down fast too, so he's lost some power. He probably doesn't even realize it yet.
This place is so hard on the valve train.
Oh, yeah.
You pull a fairly low gear, and it's a hanging RPM. It just gets up there on these long straightaways and just hangs. This really can be a motorman's nightmare.
Yep.
Ted Musgrave has found himself a 7th spot. Kenny Irwin's up in 6th. Take a look here. There is that number 52.
Boy,
Toby
he threaded
Butler.
the needle down in that turn 3 wide. That was pretty exciting. I'm sure if you're running for the championship like Hornaday is, you didn't want to really see that kind of action.
8th place here. Ron Hornaday not having the kind of day he wanted, although if he can put together 2 9th place finishes here this week and then on up there to Vegas to that gorgeous new super speedway there, he'll have the national title to himself. He's given us 2 of the best races that we've had this year. I think that one up in the Northwest, unbelievable battle.
That one at Loudon's the one that got me. I mean, he bounced off the wall. He did everything he could possibly do. And on that last restart, I mean, I was jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. It looked like everybody was asleep, and he just shot past them.
He drove through the grass, bounced off the wall. He did everything.
He's fun to watch. He and Skinner have really been an inspiration to the guys in this series because they've shown the tenacious attitude you got to have to be successful.
They still got some work to do on that truck. I still don't think they've quite got it like they want it, but you know, they seem like they always, on those final adjustments, they get it there.
Yeah, he's almost a half lap behind right now. Sprague is just motoring through this field pretty easy right now.
Hey, if you want to have some fun, get yourself down. You know, the trucks are going to go to the Kingdom. Back there the first week of December, they're going to start testing down there for that first big race, that major event of next year.
Yeah, you're talking about at Disney.
Yeah.
Disney World. Yeah, it'll be big. It'll be fun.
You going to run that yourself?
I may. I like those kind of racetracks and that kind of races. Big time racing.
Mm-hmm. More on truck number 3 from Dick Bergman.
Ken, we've been listening to Richard Childress talk to his driver, and he is saying nothing about conserve or save the engine. He is, however, sending messages to Mike Skinner about how to take the line. He is telling him, slow down a bit more going into the turns. It will help the truck run better. He is also telling him you run faster when you stay low in 3 and 4. Nothing about the engine.
Well, you know, it could be, he could have got into somebody. We've seen a little contact on and off, and it could be a tire flicking up against the fender every now and then, causing that puff of smoke. So I'd say if it was skipping, or, you know, if there was a big problem with that engine, he'd know about it by now.
Carlos Serrano out of Tucson, Arizona. One of the prides of the Southwest is on pit road. We are showing lap 113 at 124. We're going to get that 5-minute break in the competition. Jack Sprague getting underneath Refner. Refner giving us this great shot as Sprague continues to work flawlessly around this 1-mile track. Continue to just roll over the competition at Phoenix. Next Saturday, 12:05 on TBS, it's the season finale for the All-Pro Series, the Slim Jim All-Pro Series. And the last chance race for the Busch Grand National Stars for Sunday's finale at Homestead, Florida. Championship Impact doubleheader live next Saturday on TBS. From 2.2 seconds down, Johnny Benson with 15 trucks running in the lead lap, closing on the brake. Look at this battle, closing right up in here. And take a look at this. Here's Hornaday working on the back of Toby Butler in the number 52. That struggle is back there for 8th position.
See, Hornaday, he takes every position. He takes every position like it's for the lead. He never lets up. He just keeps hounding the guy till he gets by him. That's how he does.
Ron Hornaday working Toby Butler, comes back to the inside. Take a look at Jack Sprague in front. He nearly got trapped just a couple of laps ago on the number 15 of Randy Johnson here.
Yeah, he was right up on the back of Johnson, and you can see the truck got a little bit loose. I don't know if he maybe was trying to get out of his way and just turned it too hard left, but whatever. It was an exciting moment, I'm sure, for Jack Sprague. Watch this. This is...
Got up right up against him. And Ricky Johnson was trying to stay on the lead lap. You know, we're down to about 3 or 4 laps away from the next yellow flag for the halfway point. So Ricky's trying to stay on the lead lap. A couple of things that allowed Benson to really close up on Sprague. And you and I was talking during the break. At the end of the last run, Benson's truck was a little stronger on the long run, just a little bit maybe than Sprague.
But you know what I like, Larry? There's a kid, Ricky Johnson, hadn't raced trucks a lot, hadn't raced cars a lot as far as that goes. He didn't quit. He didn't see the leader in his mirror and pull over and say, okay, Mr. Leader, I'll get out of your way. He raced him, and he raced him pretty hard, and he raced him pretty clean.
It's hard to stay on the lead lap, and you can't give up anything, because you know any minute the caution could come out and you'd be in good shape.
It just did. Yeah.
Which it just did. Competition caution on the track. 5-minute break. That opportunity to bring these rigs onto pit road, give them a real careful look, get those tires changed, add that fuel, and then run it out to 186 laps and the finale of this 300-kilometer event on TBS today. The Truck Series in Phoenix with perhaps the largest crowd of the season looking on, and right now watching number 24, Jack Sprague having a whale of a day, and Johnny Benson matching him on every corner, staying right there in second place. As they began this race first and second, so they continue it. Rutland now in third, Skinner in fourth, Bliss in fifth, and Kenny Irwin stays sixth, with Musgrave becoming a very serious factor in that Jack Roush number 99 up to 7th spot. So they roll on to pit road. Opportunity to talk to some of these drivers too, Darrell, about how they feel things are going. For that matter, let's go right now to Steve Burns and find out what Jack Sprague, the leader of the event, is going to do from here on.
Well, Jack Sprague coming in. I talked to Dennis Conner a while ago, and as I said, he said, we're not going to change much of anything. Let's see if we can get inside the window net here with Jack Sprague. Jack, you guys have had a heck of a run. Are you going to make any changes?
I can't hear what you're saying, but the Quaker State Chevrolet's run awful good. The Hendrick guys are doing a great job. And, got awful tight there. If they get the speed up a little bit, I think we'll have a good truck.
Okay, to Dick Berggren.
Well, Mike Skinner right now is talking with Will Lind, his crew chief. Let's see if we can get a word with him. They've had a problem with the vibration. What is going on, Mike?
Well, we really don't know. We're going to check the thing out and see what's going on with it. I don't think it's anything major. I hope not anyway. We're just trying to ride around and bide our time right now, not run this thing too hard, keep the RPM down.
Yeah, they're trying to save everything for sure on this. They're going to take a little bit of what they put into it last time out. They've got the truck just a little bit too loose. Boy, the big wrenches are out, Ken Squire. They've got all 4 tires going at it, and a lot of work going on here with the number 3 truck.
And the number 80 the same, and you can see some battle damage and some scars on Ruttman's rig, and we'll be back to update you on Joe Ruttman's truck, condition thereof, when we return to Phoenix, Arizona, and get ready for the final moments of today's race with the Craftsman trucks from NASCAR.
Now it's time for the Auto Week Week in Racing. Halloween came early to the Sand Hills of North Carolina last weekend. Mark Martin dominated Saturday's AC Delco 200, his 6th Busch Grand National win of the 1996 season. Sunday, the points chased the focus between Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, and Dale Jarrett. Ricky Rudd, the big winner Sunday. 14th straight year he's won a Winston Cup event. Labonte takes the point lead.
Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week at the special TV price of just $19.95, lowest price ever. Every week, Auto Week is first with all the inside news of racing, personalities, driving impressions, everything. Call now for Auto Week, 1-800-232-1522. Don't delay. The offer is limited. Here at Phoenix, Arizona, we're in the 5-minute break, and let's go to Dick Berggren.
Joe Ruttman won twice last year, hasn't won yet. Last 4 races, he's gone 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd. Joe, today the day.
Well, I better make a long-distance call on the LCA line because I can afford to do that, and find out what we need. The boys are hooked up pretty good in front of us, and we changed a little bit, and we're just hoping we get a good set of tires here because they are hooked real good. But we made some adjustments, Dick, and we hope we can make up the deficit.
Okay, let's go to Steve Burns.
Ron Hornaday is all business. Ron, what sort of adjustments have you made to this truck?
I couldn't hear you. What was that?
So what sort of adjustments have you made to get to the front?
Well, I don't know what adjustments they made with the Savage Chevrolet, but we're just a little tight through the middle. I can't get the thing to rotate through the middle, and they're running up on me and burning the right front tire off. If we keep this thing going and try to make this up front, we're going to have to say, Action Collectible, they're number 1 in diecast, and then we just got to get this thing going like we've been doing all year, and I think this is the last change we made, so we'll see what we can do in the next 40.
Okay, Ron.
You know, there's a guy that's frustrated right now. He doesn't really know what to do. He'd like to make some major changes. Schrader, he's doing his normal car owner deal there, you know. And I was a little bit interested in what Skinner had. I heard some concern in Skinner's voice, too. He says they got a vibration. He's not real sure what's going on. I think they may have a problem there that they haven't detected yet.
It's, vibration. It's a scary thing. And it's, Dick Beatty used to tell us, it ain't going to go
No,
away.
it don't
it's
fix
not going to go away.
Uh.
And yeah, there is some concern on both these points leaders. You can just hear it in their voice. And this is their last shot. No more adjustments, no more tires. They got 62 laps to go, and they're going to have to go with what they got.
Okay, we're lining up the field, preparing for a start. This is it. We'll take a rundown on the standings as we get ready for the go from lap 124 to 186 to decide it all today. We'll have Sprague and Benson, Ruttman, Skinner, and Bliss up in front, Kenny Irwin in 6th. Watch for Musgrave. He's been looking stronger throughout the event. Then comes Toby Butler and Hornaday. Looking further back, Kenny Wallace, who hasn't had a call all day. Kenny getting ready to focus very seriously. Still on pit road with a hood up right now on the 22. And we also see Sedgwick on pit road, as well as Kenny Irwin Jr. Final page of results here. Jimmy Hensley took a hard hit. Walker Evans is out. A.J. was one of the early goers. Back into the garage, Bobby Labonte, Hendrick. Lance Norrick, hard crash at the very outset of the event. And we're looking forward to Tokyo, to Japan, and to NASCAR racing there come November.
Two Winston Cup champions, Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, went to Suzuka City, Japan to test the 1.4-mile road course. Both think that the track will allow the drivers to put on a great show for the fans in the stands and those watching on TBS.
Well, our sport has grown, and it's growing by leaps and bounds, really. It's amazing to me that I'm in Japan, and it's pretty impressive.
It's you're not going to shift much there. You're running high gear and get third gear one time and second gear most of the time. A lot of S's in the back straightaway, just one wrong front straightaway.
I imagine they'll be hitting on me to lend the information. I've given some information. I don't know what kind it'll be, but
I don't know if anybody really knows what to expect. Rusty and Dale have told me that the track is nice and good to race on.
It's a pretty simple thing. They said, you know, set your car up basically like Sonoma or Watkins Glen.
No, they won't tell us nothing.
On Saturday, November 23rd, NASCAR makes its formal international debut live from Suzuka, Japan at 10 p.m. Eastern on TBS. And 3 of these truck drivers will be there as part of that All-American All-Star field against some of the best from Asia. Ron Hornaday, Mike Skinner, Rick Corelli from the NASCAR Truck Series are going to take the jaunt across the Pacific for that one. Don't miss it, November 23rd on TBS. Now, Kenny Wallace's truck is still on pit road, and the hood is still up. We'll give you an update on that in a moment. They're still checking on that one. The field is rolling. We're getting set to go back under green. And when we do, it'll be Hornaday and Benson at it once again. What do you think from here, McReynolds? Are we going to see this number 24 stay up in front and dominate as it has here so many times at Phoenix, Arizona?
I think we're going to see our typical Craftsman Truck Series finish. And the truck I'm going to watch is Ted Musgrave. I mean, he had a stop and go. He come from the rear. He's worked himself up to 7th place. And you can't never count the 3 or the 16 out either.
They're trying to get the 22 up, and they're just rolling now to get him back to his position.
Part of the frustration, I think, that Skinner and Hornaday are feeling is Jack Sprague's not that far behind in this championship chase. And so he's leading the race and pulling away pretty easily. I think that's got him a little concerned, too.
Getting ready for a start. Field coming down, ready for green. Kenny Wallace has made it back on the track. He's about a half lap back. Remember, he was 11th. Now he's behind those 14, 15 trucks in the lead lap and immediately exploding out in front. Again, it's Sprague, followed by Benson. And Joe Ruttman falls back about 5 truck lengths as he comes after them in the back straightaway. Mike Skinner right there.
Looks like Jack's been moving the groove up a little bit more. He hadn't been running on the bottom the last several laps. Maybe ever since that first competition yellow, he's been running the high line, especially down in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's not it's really nothing wrong with that. Like you say, it keeps the truck wound up, keeps the engine a little few more RPM in it, and boy, it's tight off the 2 trucks off the pace. That's who that is down on the bottom there, and they're going by him.
Mike Bliss's truck, number 2. Having a bit of a problem here. Backing up a little.
Yeah, it looked like there was something wrong, but there he comes back again.
Back up again.
I'm not sure what's going on with him. Still, we got a great race up front here with...
Yeah, and the closing down is Joe Ruttman in 3rd spot. We can get more on that number 80 truck right now from Dick Berggren.
Well, they don't want to talk much about it here in the pits, Ken. In fact, when I talked to the crew chief, he sort of looked at me and then sort of winced as if, oh, I really wish I hadn't told you that. But they've got overdrive in that truck. They can run high gear, and then they can drop it into 1 more gear and pick up a little bit more. That helps them get off the corner, and it also can potentially thread the engine. But these guys have come loaded, prepared. They desperately want to win, and they can twitch that motor if they want to.
Qualified 11th, and now in 3rd is Joe Ruttman. And a very spunky Johnny Benson Jr. staying right there with Sprague. Sprague has popped out each time on these restarts after these provisional caution periods. But this time, Benson is hanging tough.
You know, let's talk about this overdrive deal. That's an interesting deal. You know, we used to do it at Martinsville. When the tires are fresh and they're really biting in, he's pulling 3rd gear, which is 1-to-1, and he's getting full advantage of the RPMs. On into a run, which you got to deal with that in this truck series because you can't come in and change tires under caution. start spinning the wheels, he slides it in the fourth, which is overdrive. He's a little higher gear then, and it won't spin the wheels when he accelerates.
Yeah, that's big. That's really, like you said, they're loaded for bear. That's good thinking. When they said overdrive, Larry and I both turned around and looked at each other like, whoa, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, this is big here.
But then on the other hand, McReynolds looked at me like, I hope nobody else knows. Maybe he did too. Be a lot of phone calls back to the shop tonight, won't there, Larry?
Oh, yeah.
Can you get that
Them
transmission?
guys will be busy.
Can you get that on a UPS or airplane or something?
Kenny Wallace has fallen back to 16th. All these excuses here from these fellas. Let's find out more about what happened to Kenny Wallace from Steve Burns.
Ken, right before they restarted the last segment, I ran up to Kenny, and they had changed the intake manifold, so they got it changed, and he's back out.
Yes, he is, and he is in 16th. They're going to sell all their Grand National equipment, everything they've got there, and they're really going to focus on a Winston Cup run in 1997.
Well, that is I think in my 25 years, that's a first.
We've changed intakes in practice now, but I can't say we're never doing it under caution. But, you know, a Ford intake is easy to change. You don't have to pull the distributor out. The distributor's in the front. It's real easy to change. I've seen our guys do it. We've done it in the middle of a practice, and the driver never even get out. You know, maybe the reason they did it, maybe the truck just wasn't running off the corner. Maybe they've got an intake that's got a little more torque to it. But that's an interesting change, too.
Yeah, not only that, but now you got to remember this. Kenny's going to run tomorrow, too. So he might learn something today that'll help him tomorrow. That's what a lot of these guys do this for.
The front three coming by to complete lap number 131 this time. And you still have Sprague, Benson, and Rutman deployed 1, 2, 3.
I guess our theory about the three truck smoking and the valve springs and all that stuff, I don't believe he'd still be going quite as well as he's going if he had any kind of engine problem.
There you see, he's not that far behind them leaders.
15 lengths maybe right there.
I guarantee you when the time comes that he'll pass them on the outside and go on.
Then
he did that last week or 2 weeks ago with that little short track. That amazed me.
It's another 20-25 lengths back to Kenny Irwin in 5th. Right with him comes Musgrave in 6th. Musgrave might hang in a little tougher there with those front three. Well, it's caught up further back.
Yeah, when you know, the closer to the front you get, the harder it is to pass. These guys back in the back, they'll move over a little bit and give you some room. But when you get up front, everybody's racing for the win, and they don't give anything.
Hornaday still falling back. There you see Toby Butler in the 52 coming by. He's in 7th. And Hornaday is behind him in 8th.
There he is.
And struggling a bit here.
No, Ron Hornaday really wants his championship. He knows where he needs to finish today. You reckon that might be part of what's going on here?
I can't believe that with Hornaday.
It's not Hornaday's style.
Not his style.
I know if I was him and I was having a bad day and I finished 9th, I'd say, well, that's all I had to do. But I know that's not him. I don't think that won't fly because everybody knows how competitive he is.
I think he's had like 22 or 23 top 5s this year or something. That's phenomenal.
All but one at top 10.
Good equipment and a good driver. Onard hit a home run right there when caught old Hornaday from the West Coast. Of course, I can't say a whole lot. Childress wasn't too bad when he brought Skinner in either, was it?
Don't much look like it.
And Hendricks, they got the knack. You know, they find Jeff Gordon and make a star out of him. Now they got Jack Sprague, and all of a sudden he looks like he's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. And he's a guy that's been around. I mean, he's run Concord and Busch races and drove the 74 Busch car. He just could never get anything going, but he's hit a home run here in this truck series.
There's that 2 truck we were talking about. We thought we had a problem with that. Let's go down to Steve Burns and see what the story is on Mike Bliss.
Barry Dodson, you guys have backed up to 15th. Are you having a problem?
Something's wrong in the valve train. It's not smoking. That's what we're waiting for. If that doesn't happen, maybe we'll be okay. We're trying to stay in the lead lap, and what he's running right now is what they were running at the end of the 62-lap run. So if we can hang in there and stay in the lead lap, it's important to us. You know, we're in a points race too. So just out of it today for a little bit, you know.
Well, Barry Dodson told me before the race, this is the best truck they have. This particular truck has not won a race, but it is their favorite truck.
15th at the present time for Mike Bliss, who'd been running up in the front 5 all day. Just a few moments ago, Larry McReynolds said, keep your eye on that number 99 of Musgrave. Here he is, closing in on Kenny Irwin Jr. the open wheel champion of the United States Auto Club. And he's got him in his sights. He's down to a half truck length behind him out of 4 as they come around to complete their 138th lap.
I'm impressed with Irwin, though. You know, I guess having run midgets and Silver Crown cars here like he has, he knows the racetrack pretty well. But he's done a great job of staying in the top 5 all day long, and that's pretty impressive for a guy that hadn't really driven trucks that much.
What few races he's run, he's been competitive. First one he come about, I think, at Richmond, sat on the pole up there.
Yeah, he did.
So Ted's truck might be a little quicker than Kenny right here, but Kenny's just quick enough holding that bottom groove that Ted just can't get by him right now.
And really, Musgrave's been better on the long run. The longer he goes, the better he gets, seems like. So when these guys back up a little bit, that could play right into his hands.
In the rookie battle at the present time, Refner is running 18th and George 21st, and that's been a good struggle in the last couple of races. Doug George has been coming on, making some big moves, and there is Doug George in that 21, and he's got a move on the 15 and getting underneath, moving by the former world motocross champion.
There's Harry Gant down there on the inside too, Ken, making a move around Ricky Johnson. Got Rich Bickle closing up there right behind him. Oh, there's 99 on the outside of the 98 this time.
Got a correction in that scoring. They're now giving George, they're saying they just moved this up to 12th, Darrell, 21st.
Yeah, I thought he'd been running better than that. All of a sudden he had fallen back, but you're right, he's up to 12. And running a good race. Right ahead of Harry Gant right now.
I think Ted finally decided Kenny Irwin wasn't going to get him to the bottom of the racetrack, so he says, I'm going to try you on the high side here for a while.
Now watch how he comes off this corner, and the outside guy usually will have a little bit more momentum, even though the guy on the inside's got the preferred line, you get a little more speed off that corner.
Takes you maybe a little longer to get by him working that high side. You don't drive under him underneath, but eventually, there he goes. See, Ted clears him there off of turn 4.
And breaks into the top 5 for the first time this afternoon. Musgrave in that Jack Roush truck, the X-side truck, puts Kenny Irwin Jr. back to 6th position, and there are the leaders. Jack Sprague is there, about 3-4 truck length advantage over Johnny Benson as the war continues with 142 laps complete.
Now you can go behind the scenes with Ernie Irvan in this exclusive video documenting his triumphant return to racing by ordering Miracles Happen, the Ernie Irvan comeback. Call 800-385-3087 and get your video now.
Ron Barfield has brought out another caution as he erupted going into turn number 1. A lot of smoke coming out, and this is what it looked like when Barfield, who had finished 8th here in April.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Bad place for a motor to let go, getting right down in the corner.
I believe that Big Mac had a little too much oil in it.
Dick Berggren standing by with Ron Barfield.
Ron, I don't mean to upset you or anything, but this truck smells awful. What happened to this thing?
You know, I don't know what happened to it. You know, the motor just let go going down in 1 there, but, you know, the truck run good all day, and, you know, I got to thank Super 8 and McDonald's for coming on board here. And, you know, we'll get ready and go to Vegas, but, motor just let go, just going in the corner, no warning at all, but, we'll get them next time.
And he's also going to test the Winston Cup car in Atlanta for Bill Elliott. Watch this guy. He is going to be big, Ken Squire.
A lot of people are saying just that, and for sure Bill Elliott is.
Yeah, Bill's putting a lot of time and energy into what he's doing. You know, he's run trucks, he's run ARCA, he's run Sportsman, he's run, Busch, and Winston Cup. So Bill's checking him out. He's going to find a place for him.
Refner, the 44, now on pit road, and the 2 of Mike Bliss is in. Refner brought the 44 in, running an 18. Is that Mike Bliss's radio we're getting there?
No, it was, I think that was Refner we heard.
Refner's radio.
Yeah, he's in.
What's the story? Let's go back down on the pit road a moment to a Dick Berggren. What are they saying down there? For instance, with Mike Skinner, we kind of get an off again, on again feeling about that. What can you tell us about Skinner in the number 3?
Well, Ken, Skinner's not really saying much of anything other than he doesn't like his truck. He hasn't liked his truck all day. He says he's got to push in the middle of the corner. The engine is skipping. I mean, how much can go wrong? Refner has just been in, and they pulled this out of the right front spring, another one about half this size, and that adjusts the spring rate. And I bet Larry McReynolds can explain how important these spring rubbers are.
Well, you know, especially in this truck series, but we do it in the Winston Cup cars. That just builds you adjustment into your springs. And what they've done, they've softened the spring rate on that right front spring. I'm sure if they've done that, the truck was pushing, it wouldn't turn, so they've softened that spring rate with hopes it'll make the truck turn better, as long as that don't make it loose getting in the corner.
You know what I like, Ken? That 3 truck, what's he running, 4th?
Mm-hmm.
And he hates his truck. Now, I mean,
I believe I'd love my truck.
I think I'd love my truck if I could run 4th. I don't think I'd
Sounds
complain
like
at
a
all.
country song. I love my truck. Let's get down here and get with Steve Burns.
And Mike Bliss was just down here with the hood up. Barry, you told us moments ago you're having a problem. What's it look like with the hood up?
Well, it's all the plug wires were on. We were hoping we knocked one off at the half, and we didn't. And there's a mouse in the house somewhere. You can hear it, but we can't see it. We're just hoping it doesn't start smoking. We can come home to a good finish. And stay in the lead lap. We needed that caution. We need a couple more.
Okay, thanks, Barry.
Yeah, thanks.
Ron Barfield bathed the first and second turn in oil, but we've got it all straightened out, and we're getting ready to get this one back underway on TBS. Next week, the All-Pro cars are going to be at Homestead, Florida on Saturday, part of a gigantic weekend on that marvelous new facility. We're going to see that as well as Grand National Final Shootout, losers leave town kind of race. That's going to be fun. Next Saturday here on TBS. Watching as Musgrave goes down into turn number 1, still in command. Question is Ruttman, I think, as much as anything. Has he got something to show these guys at the finish of this one?
Yeah.
And that guy, Kenny Irwin, out there this afternoon, Darrell, he is having some day. This is only the 4th truck race for him.
Yeah.
He's looking terrific.
He is. You know, he took that ride over from Butch Miller. Butch Miller had driven that car, so I know he's having a good day and having a lot of fun. You know, it's interesting at the front right now with Ruttman in his overdrive. Says he's holding back a little something. Then you got Skinner sitting there, and we don't know what's wrong with him. He's pushing.
He hates his truck.
He hates his truck, so we're going to have some fun here with these last few laps to go.
Hey, we're going to get another lap of caution. They're putting yellow back out. They're still not comfortable. Hey, take a look yesterday, Southwest Tour. Now, these are the same as the All-Pro cars that'll be running at Homestead next week, and this was on a restart yesterday. Here they come, 5 wide as they came down through, and then the result was this. Oh, there goes one of our cameras off the wall.
I have never known 5 wide off that turn to work.
That just don't work.
I just never have known it to work.
There's another evidence that it will not work.
That's hitting her up on the wall, and Kirk Rogers got involved in it, and Kenny Shepard, Frank Morantz, all caught up in that. And take a look at what happened to the camera, Darrell.
Oh, wow. Wiped it right out.
Yeah. And the win in yesterday's race went to Scott Hansen. What a smooth driver he is.
He comes out here every year and does that. You know, he runs 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and I didn't even think he had a shot.
And young Michael Alsop from Woodstock, Vermont, got himself a 2nd yesterday, and Mark Reed got 3rd. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff we totally expect next week. Those All-Pro cars put on a great show.
Yeah.
So that's
Where's that guy from? Alsop?
Woodstock. You know the old Alsop engine ran for Penske?
Oh,
That's
really?
his little boy.
It is?
Yeah, he was like 7 or 8, running around underfoot all the time.
Yeah.
He wasn't underfoot anywhere but up in front yesterday.
Getting the job done yesterday,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
led a lot in 2nd spot.
Cool.
So here we are, getting set once again. They're going to take one more lap before we turn them loose. And let's set the table for you as we get down to the finish of this one. There'll be 150 of 168 laps complete. And the story goes like this. Up in front, and it looks like we're going to get another.
Yeah.
No, they're showing one.
Yeah, but they got a lot of. Look at all that stage right down the bottom of the track and up high. That's
They're going to send them off. Sprague will be in 1st as we get ready to go. Benson in 2nd, Ruttman in 3rd, Skinner in 4th, and Musgrave to 5th. And as to the Chryslers here today, how are they doing? Well, we'll find out right now from Dick Bergman.
Well, Ken, so far, none of the Dodgers have won any of these Truck Series races. All the events have gone to Fords and Chevrolets, but that may well all change in 1997. Dodge just returned to big league racing in 1996 after a 20-year absence, and they've been speedily building things, trying to get their engine program together. And for 1997, they say they're going to have a new block, a whole bunch of new pieces, and they are going to be able to eliminate the horsepower difference. It's been about 20, 30, 40 horsepower at some racetracks. Disparity between the Dodges, the Fords, and the Chevys, and the Dodges have not had enough power. 97, they will. That's good news for the Dodge fans.
Indeed it is. There were at least 5 or 6 Dodge moguls out here watching carefully. They've been out here for practice. They're here today, and the word is out. They're going to make up that horsepower difference and that RPM level they needed.
Yeah, there's a big, they're down on power. That's what Rich Bickle keeps telling me, and of course, I know he won't want to hear that because he's going to switch over to something else next year, but it's good news for Richard and those guys.
Battle for the lead, going down into turn number 1. as they skirmish out of turn number 2. And look at Benson put it on.
Yeah.
Here comes Rutman. This is it. 151 of 168 complete, and that's for the lead. Johnny Benson hangs it on the outside. He's up into first place. Back comes Sprague on the bottom. Oh, we've got some real truck racing for you now. Here comes Rutman after him.
There's Skinner right there, too. What happened was that Benson took the outside line there because there's no stage drive. He really hit it just right.
98. Tire is down. Oh, Kenny Irwin Jr. in big trouble.
Oh, yeah.
No caution coming out. All kinds of parts coming off that rig.
Yeah.
Yellow is coming out. Yellow is coming down. Here's the race to the line. Benson is on the outside. Back comes Sprague. They're still even. Racing out of 4. And down the stretch they come as they come to the line. Oh! Okay, Darrell, which one was it?
Well, I think Sprague had it by an inch.
Oh, I thought it was Benson.
Yeah. What do you think, Larry?
I don't know. It was hard to tell. This will be a good break for Kenny Irwin. Although he goes past the pit road entrance, the fact will be if he can make it back around.
Take a look at Kenny Irwin Jr. and what happened to him here. Gets pushed out of the line.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, big time. That cut the tire.
Cut the tire right down.
That 15 truck has had a little trouble off that turn 4.
Ricky
A couple of
Johnson.
times.
Take a look right here.
Oh, that's exactly what happened
yesterday
to Jimmy Hensley in reverse.
And that could have been camera number 2. Here we come to the line, folks. You call it.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the 18 gets but the call.
He nipped him.
But I think they do not race back to the caution in this truck series.
Oh, come on.
Am I right in saying that?
Oh, heck, that was such a good story.
Yeah. Sounded good, didn't it?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back. They thought it was to the line, let me tell you. They came down hard. And Kenny Irwin pulls in right front down. Coming around a complete 156 of 186 to be run here today, down to that last 30. And we're ready to go racing with Benson in front. Sprague's in second. Rutman's in third. Skinner's in fourth. And right behind him, at 99, Musgrave. Only his second race of the season. Actually, that would be, first of 96, second that he's ever run in a truck for Musgrave in the 99. And as to the 98, we can get the story from Steve Burns.
Ken, I'm sorry. I was talking down here in the 98 pits, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, sir.
Kenny Irwin, the left front was flat. They changed it. I tell you, the crew was really devastated and upset. They said because of tight racing, the 15 truck of Ricky Johnson got up into them, and they're not happy down here.
Ricky Johnson getting ready to run a full campaign next year. There may be some payback before this is over.
Yeah, well, it's a tough call. They know he's a rookie, and so the first thing you do is, that's a rookie running into a rookie, so they got to figure out which one of them was at fault.
Sprague looking up from under. 3 truck lengths back. Rutman. Johnny Benson with the advantage. 4 top 10s and 7 starts. 3 by Benson and 1 by the sensation out of the Northeast, Steve Park, this year in this number 18 Pennzoil truck.
Yeah, if you remember New Hampshire, the race there, these trucks were running just about like they did at New Hampshire. And we had a one whale of a finish there with Rutman and kind of getting the short end of the stick.
Hard into the 4th turn wall, too.
Yeah.
Got punted just as he came down. It was his to win right into that final corner.
Young Sprague just got under him, and he couldn't hold it, and they made contact.
Here's Sprague coming back up, closing in on Benson. Talk about a cool customer. Look at Benson. Limited Grand National Winston Cup experience, but every time he goes somewhere, he comes out a champion. Stays in front. Sprague looks to the inside. Couldn't hold it down there that time. Benson started second. Leading at the present time. Finished 17th here last year. And again, down to the inside.
He rooted him there. He gave him a little bump.
We've been watching Sprague run the high line through 3 and 4. Now that he's following Benson, he's back down on that yellow line running at the bottom.
Yeah. I think Sprague's just a little bit impatient with Benson. I think he's got a little bit quicker truck, But, boy, it's going to be hard for him to get by. Watch this.
Watch this bump and grind.
Yeah, this is tight racing. This is almost, too tight racing.
Greg just beat Benson back to the throttle and got up there and give him a little tap.
Got 5 of them all locked together, 6, including Toby Butler.
Yeah, you know, we give Butler a call because he's hung in there tough all day long, too, and he's right there in the top 6 and doing a whale of a job for Schrader. I think it's that windshield cleaning job that Schrader did earlier. It's really helped him.
It's good to see Toby up here running at the front. You know, Toby run the entire truck series last year, really didn't have a very good season, was real discouraged, and there's nothing that'll build that momentum back than having a good run.
Yeah, a lot of confidence when you go out there and run well. And, of course, it's a lot of confidence when somebody like Kenny Schrader says, here, you drive my truck. So Schrader could be out there doing it.
5th place truck, Musgrave. Anything more out of that one? What do you think, Dick Bergman?
Well, Ken, anybody who was a short track fan in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s down south saw, big.
Shame. He had a good truck, got in trouble with a flat tire, ends up at the back of the pack, and gets in trouble again.
Yeah.
It looks terminal right there.
It's a frustration from a young driver. I mean, I'm sure he's forcing the issue everywhere he goes. Yeah.
A lot of liquid coming out from underneath that. You know, this is a shame. He had a good truck, got in trouble with a flat tire, ends up at the back of the pack, and gets in trouble again.
Yeah.
It looks terminal right there.
That's a frustration from a young driver. I mean, I'm sure he's forcing the issue everywhere he goes.
Real time.
Oh, yeah, he got hooked.
Yeah, but it looked like he didn't have that truck cleared.
No,
he went
didn't.
down in the corner.
He turned down and he got hooked. Yep.
Kenny Hendrick, Chino, California, down there on the bottom. Caught him on the horn, turned him around.
And I'm sure he was thinking, gosh, I got a good truck. I got to get back to the front.
That's right.
The race is getting wound down, and it just got a little impatient there.
He's got the old hourglass sitting there on the dash, and the sand is about to run out, and he's got a long way to go.
That's a shame.
Now a lot more than the sand has run out. That one's done. Ran here in the spring, blew up, gets the ride in the 98, the Rebestas Ford. Gary Showalter and company, the Liberty Racing folks of Jim Herrick. And it ends here in turn number 1.
Yeah, let's see what happens here as they head off down in the corner. I think he's just on the outside of this slower truck, and he just tries to cut in too quick, really. And he gets clipped just ever so slightly.
The other truck was right on the bottom.
Yeah, and then nowhere, the guy on the inside, he doesn't have it. It's not his fault. He didn't have anywhere to go, and there's Butke, and he doesn't know what to do, and he did a great job of squeezing through there. Made some contact, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, almost made it by.
You know, all these cautions are not helping Ted Musgrave at all. And I don't really think they're going to help Rutman with his overdrive.
You're interested in that overdrive.
I want him to get that. I want him to put it in 3rd gear. I wish he had a call us when he does. So
a little light on top that says, I'm in overdrive. I'm in 4th.
I want to see what it does.
We'll take a break and be back. We're 165 deep into this 186 lap event at Phoenix with the Craftsman truck strutting their stuff here today on TBS. 18 laps to finish it here as you look at the Phoenix Mile, Phoenix International Raceway from our Duralube aerial platform, building for a heck of a finish with Johnny Benson out in front. Let's take another look at what happened from Brian Reffner's in truck here.
You can see Irwin cuts in and just makes contact with that, I don't know whose truck that is, that 32 or 42. Anyway, he made a little contact getting down in the corner and turned him around.
I believe it was that 32 truck of Kenny Hendrick that was on the bottom of that. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Well, Gary Showalter, Kenny Irwin's crew chief, wasn't too happy to do this interview, but was nice enough to stop. You guys did have a tremendous run nonetheless.
Well, Kenny did a heck of a job for just being in the truck for the 2nd time. I think we were really good all day long. We were going to go to the front, and
got a little lap traffic, caused us to get a flat tire, and Kenny tried too hard to get it back, so we'll get him next time. We'll be good at Las Vegas.
Okay, Gary.
And there she goes. And there she blows as it goes into that wall on the outside. Tough day for that Showalter crew. Let's get a word from Dick Bergen as we get ready to go green one more time.
Well, Ken, we were talking with Freddie Fryer, who is crew chief for Ted Musgrave, and he has said that as good as the truck is, it takes it about 20 laps to come in, and they don't have 20 laps left. It pushes until the tires get heated up after about 20 laps, so they're not as optimistic now as they have been earlier in this race.
Finished 4th here last October. Musgrave driving for Jack Welch at that time.
That was kind of an observation Larry and I had made, that these cautions were hurting Musgrave. Of course, they're helping Mike Bliss a lot because he's down a cylinder, so he keeps him in the lead lap.
Green is down. 169 complete. 17 to go. Johnny Benson steams out in front. 3-length advantage.
Well, these restarts are, they'll get you up on the edge of your seat because they get 2 and 3 wide on these restarts, and it really gets exciting.
Joe Ruttman coming out of 4, snuggles down a little lower than the front 2 from that 3rd spot. Now rides him in line into number 1. Skinner in 4th, Musgrave 5th. Toby Butler was 6th. Point leader, Hornaday in 8th. Remember, 9th or better.
Yeah, you know, I think he's got an 8th place finish in pretty good hand here because nobody really closing on him. He's been able to run in the 8th spot here pretty regularly.
Is going to give him that truck title if he can stay there. As of now, Hornaday working on that lead. Ooh.
Boy, there's a bunch of trucks right there that all tied up behind Ricky Johnson and Joe Nemechek. It's going to be, oh, and here goes Hornaday down on the inside. Right, I guess he can make it.
It's an awesome shot, isn't it?
It is.
Awesome move. 24 just bumped the 18.
Man, he's all over the back of him. I mean, he's wearing his back bumper out. He's going to have the tailgate open on that thing here in a minute.
Look at Skinner coming up on the outside of the 3, and here comes the 99 into it, and Toby Butler.
I tell you what, you can tell the laps are running down. What do we got, about 15 to go here?
Hey, this looks like a truck race.
I know Sprague he's just a little frustrated because I know he's quicker than Benson is, and Benson kind of got by him on the restart there because of the stage ride. Feels like he needs to get back in.
Sprague really gets back to the throttle fast right in the center
Real
of the
time
corner.
for the lead. There's Sprague up on the outside. Keeps his foot in it.
Boy, look at Benson and Skinner back there.
Yeah, this guy that hates his truck right there, he's moving on the outside, racing for 3rd.
Oh, goodness. Did you see Ruttman get loose getting into 3 there? He was bobbling and weaving. I saw some of that smoke out of Skinner's truck there, too, then.
Jack Sprague back in front. Benson to 2nd. Ruttman to 3rd. And all over Ruttman now Skinner trying to take a spot. As they begin to use up the sheet metal.
Boy, they are. Look at all of them. Look, I've been running Martinsville or somewhere. The sides are beat in on every one of them. Of course, Johnny Benson's rear quarter panels are about bowed down to the ground. Sprague banging on him.
You know, out of these top six trucks, you know, a win would do so much for most of these guys. Johnny Benson, he needs to win. A win will help him. Ted Musgrave, Toby Butler, Johnny Benson, these guys, all of them could use a win. Joe Ruttman, who's been hunting one all year long, it really mean a lot to a lot of these guys to get a win here today.
It really would.
And don't forget that Skinner, in that last race out of Mesa Marin there in Bakersfield, he only led 2 laps. The last 2, he's still right there.
He really closes up getting in the corner, but he must be a little tight through the center of the corner because Ruttman pulls away from him a little bit through the center. Musgrave closes a little through the center.
176 of 186 complete, 10 to go.
Well, I know Johnny Benson is thinking, Sprague, I know you're running for the truck championship, and you're 3rd in the points, and I need to be as courteous to you as I possibly can, but I sure wish you'd have returned the favor. I think he was pretty well determined he's going to get by one way or another.
Had Jack Sprague not crashed earlier this year at Odessa and Richmond, he'd be leading this point thing now. Any kind of a finish at all would put him right up in there.
I don't think Benson's done with him, really. I think Benson says, I got one more move for you. I'm going to save that to the very end because I don't want you beating on my back bumper no more.
They run the same line through 1 and 2. Both of them run the bottom, and we'll see this time through 3 and 4. It looks like Sprague, looks like when he's leading, he runs the high line right up there. He moves up the racetrack. And Benson almost gets a nose under him, but again, Sprague's keeping it wound up and gets some momentum coming down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I think there's difference in the two driving styles, plus maybe the difference in gear ratio, too.
143 points down to the leader, Hornaday, 47 behind Skinner. Is Jack Sprague currently leading here today. So he'll stay right in it as they get ready to decide the championship in a week at Vegas. And the same story holds true in Grand National competition and in Winston Cup racing. It's going to come down to that last race of the year to decide who will come out with the top honors. Here's Ruttman getting back again. He's pulling back up. He was 2 or 3 lengths back a moment ago. Maybe Ruttman is ready to smuggle a victory out of Phoenix, Arizona.
I got to believe if he's going to lean on that motor, he's starting to do it now. Don't you, Larry?
I believe I'd have it out of overdrive. Turning the most RPMs I can turn.
I would too. I'd be ready to go.
See Musgrave really working on Skinner back there. That's the race for 4th.
There it is. Skinner there. Musgrave after him another time.
And again, I always like to look at the brands. You got a Chevrolet leading, a Chevrolet second, a Ford third, and a Chevrolet and a Ford running 4th and 5th. So again, a lot of good mix of competition here.
Musgrave down to the bottom on Skinner. Could not make it through there. Let's see if he can do it going into 1.
5 to go.
4th.
5 to go. Is this race already? Gosh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you got to get ready to go to work again.
No wonder these guys are all hustling the way they are. I didn't realize this thing was about over with. It's been a fun race. I mean, it's been pretty good up front all day long.
But that's been the magic of this whole series. These truck races, where they've gone, have been fun races. They really put on a show. They're down to their final show in a week. And then it all starts next January down there at Disney World. Yep, Mickey's going to get to wave the flag.
Well, that'll be big. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my little girls, Sarah and Jessica, they might want to go down there just to... They might want that. That may be the only race that they want Daddy to run.
Skinner holding off Musgrave nicely, and just behind him in 6th. Present time is Tovey Butler. Hornaday is in 7th. Nemechek is in 8th. And Doug George, having that great battle with Ruffner's, having another fantastic run. He's up in 9th. Ruffner struggling a little bit further back in the field. Where do we see Ruffner now with that 44? Giving it a good shot, but in the latest standings, he's back.
18th.
Yeah.
Got 14 trucks still on the lead lap. As they come around, they'll get the 2 to go signal this time.
Benson can get that deeper bite in the corner. He gets it down on the bottom, but then he has to let it out a little, coming off 4. Sprague continuing to command. 1 Mile Jack may be ready to pull it off another time.
Actually starting to stretch it out just a little bit on Benson. Benson really drives it down in the corner hard, but Sprague gets some momentum off the corner.
If you're just joining us, Bobby Labonte will be on the front for the Winston Cup race tomorrow, and this guy Skinner.
Well, here comes Musgrave. He's got the better of Skinner going down into turn 1. Whoa, boy. He got him.
Got him there. Last lap.
Oh, I don't know.
Skinner ain't going to give it up.
No, he's staying right with him. Skinner's going to start outside tomorrow in the front row. First effort for Richard Childress in Winston Cup.
Here comes our winner off the turn 4.
Here comes the winner down out of 4. And Jack Sprague is going to win again. 4th career win. 2nd in a row at Phoenix. And here they come at him.
That was close.
I believe the 99 got him, but I believe that was close.
Yeah, 99 got him.
It looks like, unofficially, that 4th position has gone to number 99, Ted Musgrave, at the line. Ruttman winds up the day in 3rd, and winding up in 2nd today was Johnny Benson Jr. Well, DW, great little race.
It was.
Fine day for Sprague.
These guys just, they continue to amaze me as the performance that they can put on in these trucks, running side by side. As we saw, a lot of contact. a lot of excitement, but great race.
Now, you two got to get down here and get ready for your final 1 hour practice. You got some serious stuff tomorrow. Larry McReynolds, what about your guys? Where are you going to start tomorrow?
Well, we got Dale Jarrett in the Quality Care Ford starting 5th, and Ernie in the Texaco Haviland Ford starting 12th. 2 good start positions. ODW starting up close to the front. So,
18th. That's the
18th.
second week in a row I've made the top 25.
Wow.
Waddell has helped us a lot. He's doing a great job for us, and of course all my regular guys are still there. So the Western Auto Chevrolet might have something for him yet.
There he goes, promoting again. Thank you both so much for spending the afternoon with us. It's been great having both Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip alongside to watch Jack Sprague win at Phoenix. Back at Phoenix, the Craftsman Series. NASCAR's, they don't like to call them super trucks anymore, but I'll tell you, they put on super shows. The Craftsman trucks by NASCAR have been exciting here at Phoenix in their second performance of 1996 with 1 to go. And here we are in victory lane, and there's Jack Sprague another time. And let's get a word with him right now.
Well, we can if he doesn't run away from us. Hey, Jack. Mile track, Jack. Here we go. Victory lane again. What is it about these miles that suits you so very well?
I don't know. I just love the speed and the Hendrick motors. You know, it really capitalizes on it on these mile racetracks and bigger. I got to say hi to my wife and my little girl at home. I miss them terribly. I get to see my wife Monday. She's coming to Vegas, but I love you, and I got to thank everybody at Hendrick Motorsports for making this possible. I mean, they saved Jack Sprague and Quaker State and Chevrolet and everybody involved, Rick, Jimmy, and Pops. Awesome truck. Awesome. Dennis did a great job. The guys did a great job in the pits. I couldn't ask for anything better.
But you had come so close on so many other races and yet lost him on the last lap or next to the last lap. Were you thinking about that this afternoon?
Well, I was a little bit, but I knew Johnny'd race me clean. I probably raced him a little dirtier than he raced me, but every time I get into him, I'd get out of it and let him straighten up. I wasn't trying to get into him, but everything worked out good, and, you know, we won 3 of the 4 miles and almost won the 4th one. So it's just one of them things we've been flirting with winning the last 10 races we ran. We just haven't been able to do it, and finally we got another one today here in Phoenix.
And the guy he was flirting with this afternoon is with Steve Burns. Steve?
And Johnny Benson. Now, we just heard Jack say he might have raced you a little bit dirty. How about from where you sit?
Well, I mean, you know, they ran great all day. They really did, and our guys did an awesome job. Benzo Chevrolet was great, Kurt Rourke and all the guys. Man, for only running 5 races a year, and this is only my 4th time in here, these guys are doing an awesome job. You know, Jack runs all the races, and he runs good. So, yeah, I greased my tires up a little bit through 3 and 4, and I couldn't hold them off from that point on. So, but like I say, we ran good all day, stayed right there, and like these guys just do an awesome job. And, you know, looking for that sponsor for next year so they can run the full deal.
Johnny, it looked like you had a lot of fun out there today.
Oh, we sure do. You know, I'm probably having more fun than Kurt. You know, he's doing this serious. I'm doing it for fun. And but I'll tell you, they prepared a great truck. We didn't even run this yesterday. You know, we had a little bit of dust storm, and the Cup deal got canceled. And heck, we went home, and Kurt didn't even start this thing up, and everybody ran. So, hey, they did a good job.
Well, good luck tomorrow. Now let's go to Ken Squire.
Thank you.
And how close was it for 4th today? Joe Ruttman got himself 3rd. This was the move at the finish. There's the 99 in front. Then at the line, the 3 got it. Yep, the 3 came through. Skinner there over 99 for 4th spot. And that means that Musgrave got 5th in that final sprint to the line at Phoenix in the Craftsman trucks. The NASCAR Craftsman trucks have carried the day here at Phoenix before, I believe, the largest crowd that has ever seen a truck race. And that's only a harbinger of things to come as we take a look at the unofficial results of this day for Sprague, winning today in this great run right to the wire over Johnny Benson and Ruttman there. And you're looking further back in the field now. Rich Bickle with that 11th spot. Kenny Wallace came back to 12th. Remember, he had fallen to 16th. Butch Miller in his new ride was right there in 17th. As we get further back in the field, you begin to see those that did not make it to the finish, like Jimmy Hensley, who had that very hard crash. He's okay, but he sure tore up the number 30. Walker Evans. A.J. Foyt, great to see him here today, qualified 18th. Bobby Labonte was out early. Lance Norrick took a real hard hit at the very top of the event, and he is all right, but he sure shortened up that truck. Now the points as they stand after 23 to 24. The top 10 by 72. Hornaday in front of Skinner. Then Sprague, Ruttman, and Bliss in the top 5. And looking at the second 5, 6 through 10, there you have Resendez, Butch Miller, Hensley, Rick Corelli, and Brian Reffner. They'll settle it all at Las Vegas next week. As for our next week, we're going to take you down to Homestead, that gorgeous new track in Dade County, the greater Miami area. That's where the action is next Saturday on TBS. Hope you'll be with us to enjoy it. That'll be the All-Pro season finale from Homestead. That's next week on Saturday afternoon here on TBS. So, for Dick Berggren and Steve Burns, Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip, all congratulating Jack Sprague for another great day at Phoenix on the mile. 1 Mile Jack was sure strong today.